Hello, everybody. Leafy Concern here. I just wanted to tell you about 3 new John Ashbery books I got. I'm unsure if I've told you about these yet, but just really excited about them. I got them off of like actually eBay, like one of those sellers on eBay that lets you get like some deal if you get like 2, you get 1 free or something like that. But these were all like really reasonable, and they were all collections that I wanted for reasons that I'll explain, and they're all kind of basically the ideal edition I would want to have, which I can also kind of explain. But yeah, basically they are John Ashbery's Where Shall I Wander from 2005, I think. Jeez, from 2005-ish. Commotion of the Birds from 2017. And Can You Hear a Bird from approximately 1996? Sorry, 1995. First edition, 1995. And it's from that Farrar, Straus, and Giroux era. Basically, Where Shall I Wander, I really wanted because I first found poems from it in this book, Notes from the Air, Selected Later Poems, which I found at a St. Vinny's, which is a theme of my videos. I find these cool books at these St. Vinny's. But I found this hardcover of this book, Notes from the Air. It has poems from April Galleons through, I think, Chinese Whispers. No, through Where Shall I Wander. Right. So it has poems from April Galleons through Where Shall I Wander. And I just really enjoyed Interesting People of Newfoundland. Like, that is one of those really, really good late ones. And it's really like that one that you all know I really love called The Instruction Manual. Yeah, what kind of note is that? I made a note that it's 3 stanzas. That's the kind of note that you're really excited about a book at a used bookstore, and then you're like, nope, no longer excited. Anyway, look at the style of this. Newfoundland is or was full of interesting people. Larry, Grand Duke, everybody. It has that wonderful prose style that he has in these like narrative poems, and it's like one of my very favorites. If you're in the right mood, this is like top tier, S tier Ashbery, and that's in Where Shall I Wander. Furthermore, if you have Notes from the Air, you can see that Where Shall I Wander has no shortage of prose poems that look like this, which I am what now? A sucker for. I am what for these? I am a sucker. And look across here, you have a sonnet. I mean, like, what the heck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wait. 4, 8, 9. Wait, 9 goes 4. Come on. Oh, yeah. Well, it's, it's like a weird sonnet. Or at least it says it is. So anyway, I saw enough in this book to know that I really wanted this Where Shall I Wander. The only books in here that I didn't really have the text of in full already because I have the Library of America things were at the time Chinese Whispers, and which is a term I kind of still don't understand, even though I heard it in I think a Fritz Lang movie that I watched last week. So were Chinese Whispers and Where Shall I Wander? And so I jumped at the chance to get a copy of Where Shall I Wander. When I get it, lo and behold, it is the same, style of Echo book, almost identical in style, same kind of, feel, stock, almost the exact same size, same font. As this book, A Worldly Country, which was my first Ashberryan love, which is the book that I found at Powell's and came to really love immediately, and it was kind of my way into Ashbery, was viewing these as monologues. So, the combination of really liking the poems already, loving the forms in here, and then getting a copy that's in the form of this book that I already love, this has so many pleasant associations swarming around it. I think a first complete read of it will be a piece of freaking cake. Next, we have Commotion of the Birds. I really wanted this one. I think when I was in a Ben Lerner phase, I was really, I realized, I saw like some really favorable review that he had. I think he's blurbed on here as loving it. Yeah. And it's his last book that he published before he died. And I'm really, like any fan, you're interested in the last things that get published. You have Parallel Movement of the Hands is the latest thing and date that I had. And then before I got, because it's posthumous, But then in terms of books published while John Ashbery was alive, the latest book I had was Planisphere, of which there is an Anthony Madrid review, actually. And I like Planisphere, but, it's not on as dizzy a height of lateness as Commotion of the Birds is. And no disrespect to Parallel Movement of the Hands, but this is like the last thing, he published, the last book published while he was alive. There's actually a video on YouTube of him reading Commotion of the Birds.
17th century. The latter part is fine.
Really great video. Also, it was a poem selected by me from my selection that I made for my friend Graham a couple of weeks ago and made a video about. I love that poem, Commotion of the Birds. Other poems that I've found in here have, brought the sauce that you want if you just, if you're a sucker for these poems and you find them funny and you find them fun to recite. One last thing about Ashbery and lateness and kind of fetishizing it, or, really wanting to keep tabs on it. When Climate Correction came out in the New Yorker, I actually copied it into my selected poems and gave it a page number. And that looks like this. In terms of edition, it's a freaking hardcover, and it was just about as cheap as Where Else Shall I Wander. It was a really lucky find. I really love the olive green end papers. The colors are kind of on point with this one. It has this disarming, a bird's egg or a robin's egg blue, or a little bit brighter than that, color to the hardcover. And it's just a really nice copy. Through and through. It's got the jacket and everything. So in terms of edition, another A plus 10 out of 10. Lastly, Can You Hear Bird? A really long book, has an alphabetized table of contents. How long is it? You'll notice that this is from his Farrar, Straus, and Giroux era in the mid-90s. We're looking at 175 pages. So like a Hotel Lautremont level long book, like flowchart, these really, really long books where he's stretching out. Why did I want this one? The cover here, the photograph, the cover isn't really like one of my favorite Ashbery covers. But some of the poems in here are some of my absolute favorites, and I've actually dog-eared them in here to show where I first found out about them. Because, I had the full text in here, again. I had the full text in here. That's what makes this kind of a different get. I already had the full text in here, so I didn't really strictly need this, but I kind of collect editions of Ashbery, and, you want one, you want a standalone one, because you always, you'll be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, one of these days, these collections that I like so much, I want to be able to, give them, a full attention and kind of, read them cover to cover and, experience them as books. That's a cool experience to have, taking nothing away from experiencing them in, collections like this. But there's this poem, Debit Night, that is one of the ones that has made me cry before. A real favorite. You'll notice that's one of those prose ones that I'm, always a you-know-what for. I noticed that there's a poem in here that has the title of a later collection of his that I'm currently looking for. I guess when I find Quick Question, I'll make a video about acquiring that. But yeah, so another one that I really love in here is Sleepers Awake. Similar to the pleasure that you get from Instruction Manual or Interesting People of Newfoundland, it's one of those poems that's not only a poem, in prose and great prose sentences, but it's got this wonderful kind of theme to it, and this wonderful kind of plot to it. I cannot recommend this poem enough. It has really shocking moments, like in this line in the second stanza that just sweep you freaking off your feet. It's so funny. It works with anybody. This is a poem I probably should have put in my selection that I made for Graham. I was slacking and didn't. You can't include everything, but this is freaking top tier, really made me love Can You Hear Bird. And I was also really into Can You Hear Bird because I loved the idea of this alphabetized, totally alphabetized table of contents, which, look at that. You see some of his greatest titles are in here. That's one of his greatest titles, I'd say. And then one of an all-time great title, Yes, Dr. Grensmer, How May I Be of Assistance to You? What? You say the patient has escaped? Which is, I think, also a good poem, too. I also found that one. That one is so good that the Grensmer one is also in Notes from the Air. So, I wanted the book. I wanted it standalone. I already liked the poems in it. And then you get this wonderful Farrar, Straus and Giroux hardcover where it has this really nice kind of like narrow, like, I don't know what these parts are called, but there's like the main part and then like the spine part. It has this really kind of narrow one. And I don't know if you can see, but JA is embossed in it. And then the spine is absolutely gorgeous. So this one's even more of a score in terms of edition, I think, than Commotion of the Birds. Also due to its age, it's probably a slightly rarer hardcover. So this was a great get. Anyway, not to talk your ear off too crazy much, just wanted to explain about these new additions to my Ashbery collection and why I'm so excited about them. My plan now is to just read them and make videos for y'all, sharing the things that I find in them that are really exciting to me on whatever level, poems I love. Do check out the poems that I single out here. I haven't singled out a single one that I don't think you would love if you've been on board with me for these Ashbery adventures so far. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day. Read on, read on. Happy reading, my friends.